go there and talk about the American Health Care Act, referred to by some as Trumpcare, others as way better than Obamacare, and by the alt-left psychos as the Death Sentence to Americans Act.
Yes, you may have guessed it if you've been following me on Instagram, but we're going to be talking about Tomi's take on Trumpcare today. I keep getting thousands of DMs on it, so I guess I have to do it, right? After all, unfortunately, 6 million people thought the arguments we're about to break apart were solid.
Here we go again.
Here we go again. Give us your uninformed, hyper-partisan opinion, Tomi.
Is the plan perfect? No. Is it everything we Republicans wanted? No.
Okay, so what exactly did Republicans want? Was it not racist enough? Did it not punish women enough? Because it does seem to target women, and I know you love when women are treated as second-class citizens, Tomi. Tell us.
Is it a good freaking start? Yes. Is it better than Obamacare? Yes.
A good start for what? See, this is what I don't understand. Is anyone out there thinking, man, these fucking coal miners in West Virginia with black lung disease who barely scrape by have enjoyed far too much financial freedom for far too long?
Does it get rid of the government-mandated health insurance and lessen the weight of the entitlement program, loved by socialists like Bernie Sanders and Pocahontas Lizzie Warren? Yes!
Yes! The government-mandated health insurance was the big problem with Obamacare, right? But the reality is that the maximum fine was only $695 per adult for not getting coverage. This was a price Americans paid to stop insurers from discriminating against anyone with a pre-existing condition and other provisions that they liked. And it was mandated so that everyone, both healthy and unhealthy, could have access to affordable medical care. Was it perfect? No. But it was an important first step towards universal health care. And about the so-called weight of entitlement programs. Why do you want the government to spend so much money on the military, but not on the lives of Americans? How is that patriotic?
If we were under President Hillary right now, we'd likely be moving to socialized healthcare and a single-payer disaster in which hard-working taxpayers would continue to foot the bill for others, meanwhile struggling to pay their own bills.
Yes, single payer is such a terrible system. Matter of fact, it's so terrible that only every other developed nation in the world has adopted it in some form, like Australia, which Trump had this to say about their single-payer system only hours after his AHCA victory.
I shouldn't say this to our great gentleman and my friend from Australia, because you have better health care than we do.
As like Trump congratulating Australia for having better gun control laws than the US. But Tomi, please, tell us how struggling, hardworking taxpayers would struggle more if they had universal coverage. You need to recognize that not everyone is 24 and healthy like you, Tomi. For countless other Americans, lacking health insurance is a very serious matter. So serious that healthcare costs are the #1 cause of personal bankruptcies in this country. So millions of those hardworking Americans who are struggling would no longer struggle under single-payer universal healthcare coverage.
That's the socialist ideal and a win for lazy sacks of shit at the expense of hardworking Americans. No thanks.
What team are you exactly rooting for here? Lazy sacks of shit like who? Like cancer patients? Children with mental disabilities that would lose their coverage? You must know someone with a pre-existing condition in your family. And by the way, even if you don't know anyone, as a woman under the new terms of Trumpcare, you might be charged up to 5 times higher if you're ever sexually assaulted or when you choose to bring any little Tommies into the world. Hopefully that'll never happen. But please, tell me how you can root for any of this.
Nowhere in the Constitution or Bill of Rights does it state taxpayers shall pay for other people's health care.
Is this your big argument, Tomi? Since you're such a self-described fan of the Constitution, or as you call it, a constitutional? Is your argument really that if something isn't covered in the Constitution, then the government should have no role in it? So what's up, no NASA? Because they didn't talk about this. You might not remember this, but NASA is a government agency and the founding fathers never once mentioned space travel in the Constitution. But you know what is in the Constitution, by the way? That only Congress has the power to declare war. Yet you seem perfectly happy to cheerlead your pumpkin-faced BFF president's pointless, expensive, unconstitutional bombing of a Syrian airbase. Your argument is so stupid, I can't believe I even have to refute it, and yet your fans eat this horse shit up with a spoon. But back to healthcare though.
You know what's sad? When hardworking Americans bust their asses to make a decent living, but fall just above the threshold of getting those government freebies.
Wait, so you want to eliminate the threshold for government freebies? It sounds a lot like you want universal health.
Oh, and are saddled with outrageous deductibles and premiums that make healthcare accessible on paper, but not affordable in reality. That's the real tragedy.
Wait, no, we agree. That is a real tragedy. Either you don't understand free market capitalism and how healthcare works, or you're straight up advocating for universal healthcare coverage right now. Have you been spending some of that extra time since you got taken off the air at Blaze watching Bernie speeches? Or maybe you set up a Stan account to secretly follow me on Instagram? It's okay, Tommy. You can admit it. You know I'm only here to help. And right at the climax, as Tommy argues that everyone deserves healthcare, she then starts babbling about Trump's 100 days of accomplishments, like his bombing the Middle East.
He dropped the mother of all bombs on Muslim terrorists.
And a bunch of other things that presidents all do, like
Cut back regulations, met with world leaders.
And while we're totally off topic about healthcare at this point, Tommy then asks her final question.
What have the Democrats done? Complained about Trump? Made signs? Marched around? Complained about Trump?
You mentioned that twice, Tommy. And those complaints helped stop the unconstitutional Muslim ban and held back the Obamacare repeal until Republicans were like, hey, this isn't really a democracy. We can do whatever the fuck we want, right? And also, you do realize that the House and the Senate and the White House are all Republican controlled at the moment. But I guess that won't be the case much longer after this colossal fuck up of a healthcare bill that the House GOP passed without even reading or even getting a CBO estimate on. A bill that even the American Medical Association said was too cruel because far too many Americans would go uninsured. So we'll see you in the voting booth, Tommy. Or maybe on Instagram, Stan. I'm Hassan Piker. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Hassan D. Piker and on Twitter at Hassan the Hun. And this has been The Breakdown.